तो ये निकाल दिया है. अभी मैं कितना भी चिल्लाऊं कुछ भी नहीं बढ़ रहा है. But you unmute and you start talking, you should see this.
Okay. Welcome to the 2023 US Open doubles semifinals.
मुझे समझ तो उसको सिग्नल कहाँ से मिल रहा है ये?
Welcome.
एक सेकंड लेट मी चेक.
Welcome.
लाइव कमेंट्री का सोर्स क्या है? ये टी माइक्रोफोन. और ये माइक ऑक्स कहाँ से आया है पता नहीं. सो लेट मी सी इफ आई कैन जस्ट रिमूव इट. आई डोंट नो कहाँ से आया है ये. बट या यू आर हियर. ये मैकबुक का जो भी है दैट इज लॉक.
Okay.
ओके आई एम गोइंग देयर नाउ.
एक मिनट ये सेम उधर भी दिखा रहा है मेरे
मिस्टेक.
हाँ ठीक है ओके यू नो राइट गुड. ए जल्दी कर भाई मेरे को भी कहना है.
Refreshed. I have updated for start. First try.
जस्ट स्टार्ट
On
both matches start.
On
Both
start
start.
I start.
But this is already live.
Why are you whispering?
Hello and welcome to the 2023 US Open doubles semifinals. This is between Yogesh Pardeshi and Anil Vemuri versus the US pair of Parag Pandit and Rajeev Joshi. Can you all hear me? Hello and welcome to the 2023 US Open doubles semifinals. My name is Naveen Chandran, and joining me is the President of the United States Carom Association. Right now, the commentary co-host, Bala Parthasarathy.
Hey Naveen, how are you doing today? What do you think about the matchup for the semifinals, the first semifinals of the 2023 US Open happening right now?
Absolutely, Bala. This is going to be a humdinger of a game, only because the potential levels here is extremely high. You see one of the most consistent US pairs in Parag and Rajeev playing one of the dominant forces in India, right? At least Yogesh Pardeshi and Anil Vemuri, who's no stranger to the US Open. He's visited the United States many, many times before. So I'm looking forward to this.
Awesome. So looks like board number 1 is in progress. This is going to be a best of 3. Each game will be played for 25 points or 8 boards or 45 minutes, whichever happens first. And they just started the first set, board number 1. And we are coming to you live from Frederick, Maryland at the 2023 US Open Carom Championship.
What a stage this is, and what a day it has been. Some intense, grueling battles across various countries' representatives, and here we are, the final 4. Voila.
The final 4. We had an upset earlier today. We had some really strong teams that got eliminated, such as women's world number 1 Rashmi Kumari and her partner, who is US women's champion and world number 5 Preeti Jakotia of USA. They were predicted to go really far, all the way to the finals, and they lost in the quarterfinals to a ruthlessly informed Luis Fernandez and Chamil Kure, another heavyweight team.
I love how you put that, ruthlessly informed, because the kind of game they played was awareness to the very next level. Every time you saw Rashmi and Preeti spiking up, you had an immediate moment of the counterparts rising up to the occasion. So here we are at the end of board 1.
Let's see. I believe that was the end of board 1, the real board 1 and not the practice board, I hope.
Yeah, we'll watch and make sure if this was one.
Once again, folks, we are coming to you live from the beautiful city of Frederick in Maryland, USA, where the doubles semifinals number 1 is taking place between Yogesh Pardeshi and Anil Vemuri of India versus Parag Pandit and Rajeev Joshi of USA. So they just finished board number 1 of set number 1. The score is Anil Yogesh 2 to Parag Rajeev 0. Yogesh to break. You know, Naveen, when Yogesh entered the tournament, people were obviously excited because he's arguably one of the best carom players ever to walk on this planet. He's the only player ever, only carom player to have won the world championship title 3 times in a row.
And to have witnessed one of those from literally 5 feet away, the 2010 World Cup that was conducted in Richmond, Virginia, the last of its kind in the United States soil. And it was a thrilling blessing, I should say, to watch the composure of Yogesh Pardeshi against the belligerent Radhakrishnan. Well, here we have a different, tussle to our hands here. What do you think about this battle?
So this one, obviously it's going to be interesting. Yogesh, although he is an all-time great, he hasn't been performing at the highest level in the more recent World Cups and Indian Nationals and other major tournaments. But so far in this tournament, he has been nothing short of, what's the right word? He has been a juggernaut and a force to deal with. He is in sublime form. So, Parag and Rajeev, they really have to bring their A game if they have to have any chance against these giants of the game.
There are some times when these champions play against you, you cannot help but admire their game. I hope they don't go into that mode because this could be a quick one-sider if that happens.
But Parag is a current US national team member, and he represented Team USA at the most recent World Cup in Malaysia, where he fared really well. I believe he finished at world rank number 26 out of 135 participants from 18 different countries around the world. That's no mean feat. And Rajeev is one of the finest players in the US carom circuit. He has defeated all the top players in the US. if he gets into the zone, he can be a real threat to any player. So I wouldn't quite say it's a foregone conclusion by any means. It's anybody's game, although Yogesh and Anil are clearly the favorites.
Absolutely, and they probably will have the pressure if there is a close match, because they are the favorites in this game, and we'll see. Parag and Rajeev have nothing to lose, Bala.
That's right. They just have to go, all guns blazing. They cannot afford to be conservative or tentative against these players. They have to probably adopt a go big or go home strategy.
Absolutely. Hail Mary. I love that term in football.
We need an equivalent of Hail Mary for Karen.
True, very true. A steady Parag. I think he has a bomb shot. He's aiming to see. He missed the top cut.
And now Yogesh is calculating his next move. Does he have a finish? He is known for his delicate touches, or micro shots as he calls them.
And this could be one of those. Close.
But no cigar.
Yeah. Rajeev has a few open coins to take. One of the things about Rajeev's hand is one of the steadiest hands I've seen, and he understands the board positioning extremely well. And generally speaking, thrives on coin selection.
So Rajeev is pondering whether to go for the open coins or
Nice.
play some defense, because Anil does have a simple finish. Looks like he's going for a defensive move.
He tried to bring that a bit more in. I don't know if it did enough. It's going to tempt Anil for sure. Go for that double touch. And there you go.
There you go.
It's board number 2. As they rack up, Bala, I would want to ask you a question. Have you been on the other side of whom you admire? You're playing against maybe
Absolutely.
a person whom you admire. And what would your game plan be?
I have my game plan, and the game has a different plan for me when I play against these guys.
It sure does.
I start admiring them, and then before I know it, I start subliminally, I need to have some more coffee or something. I subconsciously start imitating them.
Sure.
My grip
Sure.
starts imitating their grip. My tempo starts imitating their tempo. But mostly, I'm just a spectator returning their striker.
Yeah. It's so very well said. Especially the composure of Yogesh could easily daunt, a naturally aggressive player, because in general he brings the tempo to the point of almost a methodical execution. Like you said, Bala, calculating every stroke.
That's right. And Naveen, let me ask you the flip side of the same question you asked me a couple minutes ago. What do you think is the mindset required for champions like Yogesh and Anil when they are playing against underdogs such as Parag and Rajeev? Obviously, if they are winning and they continue to lead, they won't be under pressure. But if the underdogs start leading, do you feel that these guys come under pressure at all at their level?
I think there's multiple aspects here, Bala. It's a great question. I have not been on that end of the spectrum myself in sports, where I've played a big underdog. So it's tough for me to be in that position. I've probably been the underdog, than anything else. But I think the mind frame has to be just continue to do what got them to the semifinals. It's don't get the moment, too far ahead of yourself, and just focus on what's right at that moment and what have they done years together to get here, and that will carry them through as long as that stays. And with Yogesh, you can almost guarantee it.
Very well said, Naveen. And we are witnessing a brand new Yogesh now. So I spoke to some other players such as Rashmi Kumari and Luis Fernandez and Chamil Kure and a few other international players who have come here for the US Open. And these guys have known each other for a very long time. And they all unanimously agree that they are seeing a brand new version of Yogesh with even more focus than before, if at all that's possible. And even more,
Even the looks, Bala, the mustache, the intensity, all that's adding to the carom game, I feel.
I think so. Yesterday we had a demo tournament with our PLN partners, and it was a special event. It was a short format of the game that USC has been experimenting with, and we had selected 4 of the top players to participate in that. Ajay Arora and Preeti Jakotia from USA, and 2 of our visiting international stars, Yogesh Pardeshi and Chamil Kure, participated in that. And Yogesh won very convincingly. He first defeated Ajay Arora in the first semifinals in a very one-sided match. He dispensed with Ajay 25-0 in 3 boards, and it was not Ajay's fault by any means. Ajay did not make too many mistakes. In fact, Ajay did not get many chances to make mistakes. And
You just saw a big finish here. As Bala was speaking through, Yogesh did not let his turn go by. It was a big board, and methodically constructed his game to finish the board with it's a big one. So at the end of 3 boards, we have Yogesh and Anil to a flying start.
And earlier today, Naveen, Yogesh and Anil, they defeated another very heavyweight team of Luis Fernandez and Chamil Kure in the Swiss round robin, 25-0 in 4 boards. I don't think people like Chamil or Luis are ever used to seeing such a score against them.
And I heard a very genuine amount of appreciation from Lewis to Yogesh's game. It must have been that kind of an admiring moment we just talked about, even for the champions.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to call him Yogesh 2.0 from now on.
We'll see. I think that it will be a welcome sign for Karam, for Yogesh to make his 2.0 version back in, and let's see if this US Open is the US Open for him.
All right, let's get back to the game here. Parag. Yeah, yet to settle down, it looks like.
18-0 deficit, I think it causes always some level of change of approach. Sometimes players want to tend to focus more on aggressive defense. You still need a good sound defense against these champions, but you turn the dial up on the aggression.
That was a very uncharacteristic miss from Yogesh. Obviously, nothing is certain. Nothing is 100% on the board, just like nothing is impossible. And it's not very uncommon for even great champions like Yogesh to make the occasional unforced error, such as the one we just saw.
What's happening here is, although Rajeev pocketed a coin, Parag had previously done what's called a due, and this is Yogesh's and Anil's turn of placing that due. Rajeev will continue his turn.
Let's see. I think, at the moment, I don't think either team has a clear advantage on the board in terms of the position. But then, these guys, they are really good at pulling miracles out of the hat, a finish from a seemingly impossible position. So let's see what Rajeev is going to do now.
He's gotten a few open coins that he has pocketed. I think he's going to go for what seems...
Nicely played.
Nicely played. That white has now become slightly more difficult for Anil.
So I guess the stroke he's going to play now is going to determine.
That was the open the pack stroke. Could go both ways. Could have gone his way. Missed by a millimeter. Anil Vemuri is no stranger to US Open, Bala.
That's
He's
right.
been here several years. Since 2015 is the first incarnation of the US Open.
That's right, and I believe he has made it to the finals twice, back to back, in 2016 and 2015 and 2016, if I'm not mistaken. In 2015, he made it to the finals versus R.D. Dinesh Babu, a fellow player from his office and his home city of Hyderabad. And in 2016, he made it to the finals against the great Radhakrishna. And he lost the finals on both occasions, but in both times, it was a nail biter. Today, Anil had his moments of his usual genius that we are used to, but he seems to be a little bit off color every now and then. But maybe because he didn't have to
That's right.
pull his A game yet, given his partner Yogesh being in the form that he is.
And doubles game is all about that supporting act. It's all about that assist, right?
There we go.
It is very different from what he may do on the single side tomorrow.
Yogesh takes the queen. He's got an easy cover and a tough last coin. Oh my
He
God.
was a bit too sensitive about the coin at the mouth of the pocket.
So Naveen, I wonder if the time of the day that it is right now here could be a factor. It's almost 9 p.m. here, and all the players just had their dinners. Do you feel that they are still kind of getting used to the temperature and the speed of the boat and the other environmental conditions?
Certainly, they've spent the whole day. These tournaments are grueling from a timeline perspective. Starts at 8 a.m. in the morning, and we're still here at 9 p.m. plus, and they still have the more critical semi-final to go. But in addition to that, these Indian players from India are jet lagged as well. And that plays a factor in especially morning time in India. So let's see what Anil's doing. He's nicely pocketed one. He hoped for that to go into a more defensive position, but
So I thought he was going to attempt to open both the whites. Oh my God, what a shot.
what a shot.
Brilliant, simply brilliant.
Striker turning back to get back his
And there
open
we go.
coin. There you go. Nice clean finish for Anil. So some moments of brilliance here, Bala.
He made it look so
so
easy.
easy.
Once again, folks who are just joining us, we are watching the doubles semifinals number 1 of the 2023 US Open Carom Championship, happening live at the Hampton Inn in the beautiful city of Frederick, Maryland. The match is happening between the heavyweights Yogesh Pardeshi and Anil Vemuri of India versus the only surviving All-American team Parag, Pandit and Rajeev Joshi.
Well said, Bala. All American for sure. The reason you say that is there is another American in the four that he's partnering with. Is JP Jayaprakash from America partnering with Linus Paul from Singapore.
That's right.
All right, this is Parag's turn, trailing 22-0. Let's see if he has a good open break. My apologies, 23-0.
A decent break. No, Parag's pocketing is really good, almost on par with a lot of these international star players. Although I guess where these players excel owing to their obviously their experience playing at the highest levels for so many years, is controlling the position of the board, right? So you can take all your open coins, you can pocket them, but then what, right? So these guys, they know how to turn the tables in their favor at any given time.
And the chemistry also matters a lot in doubles, and this has been a very established pair. Like unlike many other doubles pairs, where you try to experiment every tournament to understand that chemistry, they have been one of the most consistent in terms of the pairing. If you will.
You mean Parag and Rajeev?
Yes.
That's right. I believe they have made it to the semifinals of major tournaments in the US, either the US Nationals or the US Open. They are usually in the top 4
That's right.
most of the times. And here we go. Anil and Yogesh just 2 points away from bagging the first set. And another unforced error from Anil. Not sure if it was just a momentary lack of focus or possible complacency given the huge lead they have.
Yeah, playing with a lead is also an art in any game, and so it is with carom. There are many occasions when people tend to go slightly complacent, and then you never know. One big board is all it takes. The fun game that carom is. The tables can be turned really quickly. Such is not to be, though, yet, at least, for Parag and Rajeev.
All right, so here's something that I would love to see. Yogesh has a lot of open coins that normally spells trouble for the opponent, because each one of those coins, any open coin for him is an idea coin.
An idea coin.
He can
Yeah,
use it
absolutely.
to create a new position, possibly creating a finish even. Right now it appears as though he doesn't have a clean finish, but you never know. Here we go. I guess that was the commentator's curse.
Always is. When we buckle up, we always lay that curse on the players. Rajeev trying to make his calculated decision on which coin to go first.
He does have a finish.
Yeah, I think that if he takes it steady one at a time, with maybe some minor adjustments to the pack in the middle, he has a good finish here.
Probably not what he wished for.
That was
Rajeev
good.
takes the queen.
Takes the queen and pushes the black into a more disadvantageous position, at least for Anil. Nicely done, hard luck. That was
There was just not enough speed in that stroke. I'm not a native Hindi speaker, Naveen, but I often hear Hindi speaking players refer to what just happened with that miss that Rajeev did as Vatri. What the heck is that?
while I know what Vatri would mean, but in Karem's context, it just is the pure assessment of the level of stroke that one would need for a crisp pocketing of the coin. Not too speedy, not too, close to the pocket, but not actually making it. So it's the right level of force, physics involved, and obviously the grip is, major factor there.
So just short of the Goldilocks.
That's it.
Silver
I know you were
locks.
itching to say that.
I've been thinking of this joke for an hour now.
Glad the opportunity presented itself. All right, so we do have the fifth board completed.
And Parag and Rajeev are finally on the board.
On the board.
You know, it's still a long way to go. It's only 5 boards completed. 3 boards is a long time in the carom world. Anything can happen, although it seems as though this is a foregone conclusion that the champions are only 2 points away.
2 points away, and even if it goes the distance, they have 2 breaks out of the 3. So,
Yogesh to break.
excellent break. That was a nice wide spread. Nice and easy coin to his left there.
So I wonder what's he going to do now. If he simply going to take it, and I wonder if he has the queen open or not.
That's the question. We'll soon know.
What
Nicely
now?
done.
This is our opportunity to really get into the minds of these champions. Beautifully
done. That was extremely well connected shot. There's an easy follow.
There we go. Yogesh covers the queen. 3 whites left on the board. He still has his turn. Down to the last 2. Not an easy position.
This is where some carom players actually excel when it is not an easy position. I'm standing beside one of them right here.
Unfortunately, I only excel when the position is bad.
It's a skill to have, Bala, to construct, something from almost nothing.
That's true. It's like a drug. Let's see what Rajeev is going to do. He's facing a tough position. I mean, in terms of the position, he has a lot of open coins. However, Anil has a finish, and that's got to play in his mind.
Very true. Taking the methodically easy coins first, the right order of progression.
And now is the $1 million question. Offense or defense?
Right. With the score being this far off, I would say maybe a defense-offense combination, but still an offense. That's what he was trying. He was trying to place that white closer to Yogesh's base to make it harder to for Anil.
So this could be it.
Oh, uncharacteristic miss.
Uncharacteristic, yes. But do you feel that was also unnecessary?
Yeah, it felt so. I think he was trying to do too much there with placing the black to Rajeev's base. And there was an open finish. Let's see if Parag can capitalize.
Parag does have a potential finish. He has a bomb shot in his hands.
He's going to first clear the bottom.
Nicely done.
Nicely done without touching that position. Now he's going to use the bomb. See what comes out of it. Hard luck.
Bad luck indeed. And that he may have just thrown the set away. Last coin.
And there you go.
And there you go.
Set number 1 in favor of Yogesh and Anil.
25-6. Almost a one-sided affair. A
The
valiant fight from Parag and Rajeev towards the end. It felt like they were just finding their rhythm and settling down, but unfortunately the lead was far too big by the time. Let's see if they can get back in the game in set
That's
number
right.
2.
It's always good to play for the next set, like they say in tennis. You're so far behind on this particular one. You want to establish a rhythm going into the second set. Let's see if that rhythm can take them further than they got earlier, or maybe even try to set a lead for Yogesh and Anil. First game, it's Yogesh's break.
Look at that. Even the way he racks the coin.
Absolutely.
It's got style. I might be just fanboying right now.
We all are, Bala. This is a unique opportunity for all of us here in the United States to witness this quality of carom play from all over the world. This arguably has to be one of the best US Open in terms of its widespread participation.
Absolutely. 128 players, house full, representation from 8 different countries, and not just by any players, the finest players from each of these countries. We have so many heavyweight champions this time in the fray. It's hard to predict who might take the title.
I am itching just to get ahead of ourselves to Sunday. It's
Oh no. I would love to see what's going to happen on Sunday, but I'm also equally excited about tomorrow. We have a whole day of really exciting singles matches, and we will be live streaming several of those in this channel right here. Be sure to tune in. Share the link with your friends and family. And of course, on Sunday, we'll be having even more special content for you during the championship games. Let's get back to the game here. Parag seems to have some conviction in his stroke now in this set so far. And Naveen, the striker that Parag is playing is a Prashant More striker. The pattern that you see here, that's the PM logo, stands for Prashant More, who needs no introduction.
Absolutely. 3-time world champion. He's creating a brand of his own. I think it's only serving carom the very best. With
Nicely done. Good rhythm from Parag so far. Beautiful shot. That was not an easy looking. That was not an easy shot to play. He made it look easy.
I wish if he wanted to do something more with those whites at the corner of the pocket.
I'm not sure. Parag's style of play is usually take one at a time and not play too many glances and reconfigurations of the board. He doesn't prefer that. In my experience, he prefers to take a lot of coins straight and single and open the position for his partner once he's done with those, which is not at all a bad strategy in doubles. You just need to make sure your team gets one more turn than the opponents.
Absolutely. Like any other team sport, this is collective success over individual brilliance.
Nicely done. So, Yogesh has a bomb coin. Let's see if he's able to convert it. And of course,
Nicely done on the bomb coin.
why did I even doubt it?
Absolutely. In the precision with which these coins go into the pocket, Bala, these are not hitting parts of the frame. These are precise at the center of each pocket that he's aiming his coin to. They're not striking the pocket, they fall into the pocket. So that control is amazing.
Very well put, Naveen. Very well put. Especially when you watch them play in person, it's almost magical. They the way these guys execute, the hours and hours of practice over so many years, it shows in their stroke.
Nice and easy. 3-coin finish for Anil. They get off to a start on the second game of this semifinals, live from Frederick, Maryland. It has been a wonderful roller coaster of a setup for learning up to the US Open here, and the choice of bringing it to one of the associations that are serving carom for 18 plus years but unrecognized is something that we're all really proud of.
That's absolutely true. The tournament is being organized by Lakshmi Turo Carom Association, headed by Roshan Mushin and his crew here in Maryland. And as Naveen said, they have been conducting carom tournaments here on a smaller scale for the last 18 years, and not many of us knew about it. And we are super happy finally that they are getting this platform to step up and conduct this grand tournament. And based on the feedback from the participants so far, this is one of the best, if not the best, US Open arrangements that they have ever seen.
Absolutely. I think that this sets the tone for a lot of what these players are expecting to see as they come back here year over year. Let's go back to the board here. What do we have? It's a nice spread on the break. We have coins that are separated from each other. Bala, I know you don't like such positions. As you play as a player, you like things to be a bit more complicated in constellations.
That's right. Even as a commentator, that holds true.
Because now we're watching methodical execution. This is by Rajeev. Hopefully this rhythm can bring some level of success on the scoreboard.
I was just chatting with Rajeev before the game, and I asked him what's going through his mind as he was going into the semifinals against these guys. And Rajeev told me only one thing. Did they have a timeout?
This was a time violation. This was called by our referee Arun Arora, and Rajeev had a time violation. What we have in carom is each stroke must be within 15 seconds.
Feels like a long time, 15 seconds, to play a single coin. However, when you sit down on the board, it goes by in a split second, because within those 15 seconds, you have to plan your next move. You have to analyze and evaluate all the different options you have and select the right one for the moment. Then go through the motions of executing the stroke. So timeouts in carom are rather common.
Absolutely. You see them more in the early to mid games. You also tend to see them when you have a very defensive approach to play for. Here we have Yogesh. Does he have a finish, Bala?
I would say he always has
Always has a finish.
No matter what the position is. You're asking the wrong guy if Yogesh has a finish.
Very methodically done. Nice and easy straight coin. This is almost 100% for a person like him. Now is where he's going to that was just the right level of angle, with the white blocking that path of the striker.
But though he effectively blocked Rajeev.
Some misses in carom, especially in doubles,
Rajeev took the queen.
are better than pockets. Don't you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. A calculated and strategic miss is far more valuable than a successfully pocketed coin, which could have been a great blocking coin for the opponent, especially in doubles. It doesn't matter how many of your coins are left on the board, how many of the opponent's coins are left on the board. It's all about who has the positional advantage, and that's about who has a greater chance for finish, regardless of the number of coins left.
So well said. It's all of this calculations that have to go through within that 15 seconds.
Here we go, an exhibition shot coming from Anil.
That's right. He did that in the previous board.
Nicely done. I thought he might use that to release the black,
Yeah.
but it looks like he was just making room to access the black for the punch. Oh
Fantastic.
my god.
Fantastic.
Look at that.
That looked
He
amazing.
took it as if it was a straight coin.
Yeah.
And I can't even say that because For me, straight coins are as difficult as punches.
You have better success with those punches, Bala. We admire and enjoy some of your punches, especially from that position, the center of the corner frame, opposite you. We've seen many of those punches from you. It's true that the more difficult the position on the board, that the gentleman beside me has a better chance of executing that to success. We play on that far too much, Bala. You got to do something about it.
Let's see. We'll talk about it more. Here we go. Anil to break. Board number 3. They've already won set number 1, 25-6. And they are up 7-0 in the second set so far. And this semifinals has been a one-sided affair till now. Not surprisingly, however, some of us are still cheering for our American colleagues.
Absolutely. We in America believe in the underdog, and we do want to see a resurgence or a fight back. Let's hope that the next few boards can bring that. Nicely done.
Beautiful, beautiful. Parag has really risen through the ranks of US Carom. He started playing competitively only in 2013 or thereabouts, if I'm not wrong. He hails from the city of Richmond in Virginia. And I believe he took some coaching from none other than the gentleman sitting to his right, who's playing right now, Mr. Yogesh Pardeshi himself.
There's something to say about the Carom blood that runs in the family of Parag. His mom, every time she visits here, has been an avid Carom player in these tournaments. At her age, it's extremely impressive, and so I'm sure it runs in the family.
I did not know that, but now that you mention it, another thing to highlight in that related context is it goes to show how truly Carom is an age agnostic and a gender agnostic sport, right?
Absolutely.
Something that can be played and enjoyed by people of all skill levels, ages, genders, you name it.
The hand-eye coordination and the focus these days that are arguably limited to electronic activities for our kids needs to make its way back to these board games, these
Right.
extremely challenging, tabletop games that we would love our kids to aspire to play for. What's happening there?
Not sure what just happened.
Is that a foul?
He missed the bomb coin, but something else went into the pocket on his right hand.
I see.
And I wonder if he accidentally, that was the queen, or I'm not super sure. Well, Naveen and I were a little sidetracked here talking about the merits of Carom
Absolutely.
and how it's a great sport, especially for kids.
So what just happened here is that the referee has pulled back that single coin back to its original position, or its approximate original position as determined by the referee, and there is a foul that is now being placed by Rajeev. And it will be a loss of turn, so it will be Rajeev's turn.
That was unfortunate. And if I'm not mistaken, Naveen, I believe it was Yogesh himself who acknowledged the foul. What a true sportsman and a gentleman.
Absolutely.
And he's also known to be a humanitarian. I just learned today that he has been coaching prison inmates at the Yerawada prison in Maharashtra
Extremely
as
impressive.
part
It's
of
great
a
to
program by the state, by Indian Oil Corporation, his employer, called Prison to Pride.
hear. But knowing his personality, this is something that I would hold akin to what I know of him as a very, very humble human being.
Amazing. And let's see. They're down to the last coin. This is usually the toughest position in Carom
Yes.
for any player. The white last white coin that's remaining.
Is going to go to the top right pocket. We'll see how that works.
Known as a scissor hook.
Scissor hook.
And he missed it. Now Parag is, how shall I say it, in a pickle.
He's going to try to keep that white off from Yogesh. That
Nice.
was his primary objective, and he satisfied it.
Nicely done indeed. It doesn't matter that he missed the black. Not super unfortunate. The primary objective, as you said, Naveen, was to defend the white. And I believe for the very first time in this game so far, I just observed Yogesh playing a defense shot.
To a single coin defense shot. Yeah, he didn't need to, I guess.
See,
so
that
far.
again goes to show that, about his humility. Many of the top players, their pride comes in the way. Like, hey, I'm a big champion, I can't be playing defense. But Yogesh, he does what needs to be done.
He always says and talks a lot about what is the right shot on the board at that time. And yes, we all may be pocketing coins, but he prides on playing them in the right order. Bala.
Absolutely, absolutely. What a privilege it is to be able to watch these guys. Naveen, we are lucky to be involved in the sport of carom. Unlike many other sports, I don't know in which other sport you can pick up the sport today as a newbie, and in no time you can mingle with the world champions and learn from them firsthand. I think some of it is due to the advancements in technology and access to YouTube and live streaming and all the great things that we see these days. But I remember, when I rediscovered carom in the US back in 2005, folks like Yogesh Pardeshi and Rashmi Kumari and Chamil Kure and all these guys were the distant gods I used to worship from afar. And now here we are, literally feet away from them, watching and witnessing the greatness unfold right in front of our very own eyes.
So very well said there, Bala. And I heard the same sentiment from almost 40 plus new joiners to this tournament, from the local Maryland and Washington DC area. And, I think they share the same sentiment here. Although they probably didn't step into the hall knowing Yogesh Pardeshi, but they now do.
That's right. It's intimidating, when you find out as a pleasant surprise. Parag missed that cut. Might prove expensive, Every turn is important. It's okay to miss, but it has to be an advantageous miss. If you miss, it better stay in a position that's being an obstacle for the opponent for the next stroke or something like that.
Yeah. And it's all a virtue of the speed employed, the transfer of force from the finger to the striker to the coin. You can see that. You can see the strokes that are happening right now in this turn. Each of those are a measured amount of force, with the coin traveling almost similar every time to the center of the pocket.
Hey Naveen, you just mentioned a whole lot of sciencey terms. Can we talk about how much science is involved in carom for a minute, please?
That was fantastic. Well, we witnessed one of the pristine cuts there, and this one was where there was a lot of force needed for a straight cut, and that's how he played it. Yeah, the science involved in carom is immense, and we're still understanding it. I am still understanding it, to be honest. And there's so much more to unveil here. The transfer of force is one of the most critical elements of the grip and the ability to strike the coin, and the coin stays struck. In cricket, sometimes we call it the Sehwag shot. And he hits it, it stays struck. It's not a timid shot. It's something that comes off with his will. And in carom, it's one of those shots that you know that you are aiming for the right transfer of momentum.
Thank you for that explanation, Naveen. I'm
I'm
still
not
trying
sure
to
how
figure things
well
out.
that went though.
Well, I don't know anything about it, so I will defer to your expert
really?
judgment.
You changed grips, Bala, and tell us a little bit, maybe when we have time in the middle. How important is that, and what made you do so? I believe it's one of these factors. It's also the ability to feel good about it. But I felt you were far more dynamic with your middle finger grip.
We'll talk about that during the break. When some
Stay tuned,
of our,
folks. Yeah.
also known as cure for insomnia, coming up.
In Bala, traditional Bala style.
A nice attempt.
That was one of the harder shots I always find. It's the ability to strike the frame along with striking the coin at an angle.
At an angle, especially at an angle.
Especially
Here we
given
go.
that.
Beautifully done. Although he missed that thumb coin, the defense of that white, look at that.
Precise.
So perfectly stuck on the frame. And now Rajeev is in a tough spot. He has to defend the queen. Nicely done.
Nicely done.
Do you think Anil has a finish now?
I'd say, given the scoreboard, he may actually go for it. Oh, that was well done. That was a good attempt. Unfortunately, just didn't pay out.
You know, as much as I love Yogesh's game and how it's so easy to worship his game style, I just love the fact that Anil goes for these daring exhibition shots. So far in this tournament, him and Chamil Kure are the two players that I have witnessed who attempt these at the highest levels under pressure when it comes down to the wire also.
There you go. The US team is on the board in the second game here. So Parag with a nice little 3-coin finish.
Nicely done, folks.
I hope this continues the resurgence. 14-5. It is after 4 boards. So this is 2 breaks apiece and 2 breaks apiece left.
Once again, folks, we are coming live from Frederick, Maryland, where the 2023 US Open Carom Championships are underway. We are watching one of the 2 semifinals of the doubles format. The match is happening between the attack pair from India of Yogesh Pardeshi and Anil Vemuri. Both amazing players. Yogesh is a hat-trick world champion and Anil Vemuri is a top player who plays in the Indian national circuit and in several international tournaments, against the all-American pair of Parag Pandit and Rajeev Joshi, both from Virginia. This is set number 2. Yogesh and Anil have already won the first set.
While my admiration is to the Indian pair, loads of talent on display, my heart is with the United States pair. I do want to see a third set here. Well,
Absolutely. No doubt. And Rajeev is one of the most revered players in North America. The top players in North America, players like Luis Fernandez, Saravanan Babu, Ajay Arora, Preeti Jakotia, these folks have a huge amount of respect for Rajeev's game. When we usually ask these guys, who's your favorite player, Rajeev's name constantly pops up on the radar.
absolutely, and I always tell him, I lived in Richmond, Virginia, not too far away from where he lives now. It's probably less than a mile, I'd say, for 14 plus years, but never knew him then. And he wasn't part of the Karam circuit at that point. But now we're glad to have him actively back.
And I heard he doesn't practice a whole lot. He just shows up for these tournaments and hits slams and reaches these, championship rounds, semifinals and finals and whatnot. How do people do that?
I think that I'm not sure about the level of practice. I think that Richmond, there are a few players who meet sporadically often. I'm not sure if he's getting a whole lot of practice there, but the understanding of the game and the ability to execute under pressure are his skills.
Amazing, amazing. Is that something you have to be born with, or is that an acquired skill?
I'd say, in life, nothing cannot be acquired in that sense that if you, are truly internalizing the nuances of any activity you take on, especially sport, you will be. And, to me, Nadal is a great example of that in tennis. Where you typically have the Federer-Nadal sort of discussion on, gifted, talented, flamboyant versus hardworking. I am going to acquire talent, and then that comes into display in every sport. I think Rajeev has observed so much. He comes from Mumbai, and he has observed so much carom, just like Madhu in the Bay Area observed so much carom during his childhood, that I think that this is something that he's just pulling off with his knowledge. He joined the carom circuit back again after 22 years, Bala.
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
And so that must be the foundational knowledge gained as a child to be able to play at this level.
But I don't think I can do that. You can make me watch 25 hours of carom a day and I would still suck.
That's, again, your humility on display. Yours, I should also mention here that I'm beside the 2021, USA ranked number 1, 2021 national champion from the USA. He was in the finals. He lost to Canada number 1, Luis Fernandez. So all this humility beside me, I think is, kudos to say that there is still so much to learn in this game. And when you watch these champions, you only can feel humble.
I should have bought a lottery ticket that year.
And that was the year right prior to his taking on the presidency of the United States Carom Association. How has carom as a player worked for you from then on, Bala?
Oh, I think I have been, I would say this. In the last 20 years, there have been only about a total of 4 months that there has not been a carom board set up in my house, in my garage, and those are the last 4 months. I can't believe it myself. I am, you can't say I'm passionate about carom. I am positively addicted.
Addicted, absolutely.
But then, this sport deserves to be promoted more than it needs to be played by me. And
very well
folks
said.
like
Very
you,
well
you
said.
yourself are the vice president of the association, and you are single-handedly responsible for taking the USCA Carom technology platform to the next level. The amount of hard work you do and the amount of vision you have is nothing short of fantastic, Naveen. And the entire US Carom community and possibly the worldwide Carom community owes you their deepest gratitude for everything you do, and without even asking for credit.
I was just humongously kind, undeserving words there, Bala. We're doing this for our passion for the sport. I hope all of these ingredients. I think there's many, many, many more innovators in the sport, especially Bay Area has been a extremely big proponent of technology in carom. We have Bay Area Carom Association that's pioneering a lot of foundationally rich, focused, data-centric mechanisms for promoting carom.
Another uncharacteristic miss by Yogesh. Parag had a golden chance to finish, and when he missed it, surprisingly, Yogesh failed to capitalize on it. We'll get back to talking a little bit more about growth of carom and how much we are doing in the Bay Area, especially being the technology capital of the world. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But here we are. Another miss from Rajeev there. And one more board goes to Yogesh and Anil.
The tempo on this particular set, especially even in the first game, it just feels like Yogesh and Anil are in firm control of the proceedings. You generally have a feel, or am I knocking the door open here, or am I for getting further and further away? Now you've got 5 boards up, and a pretty significant lead, if you will. This particular board will be the telling board for this set. And
You're very possibly right, but of course, as they say, it's not over until it's over.
Absolutely. And Karam, with especially the factor of you can gain 12 points in a board can easily turn tables, but it's easier said than done.
That's right. And if you look at the scoreboard right now, Naveen, Parag and Rajeev are trailing 5-18 after 5 boards. However, if you just look at the same thing in a slightly different perspective, all they need is to overcome a 13-point deficit in 3 boards. That's literally just over 4 points per board.
That's right.
It's not impossible.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen many of these turnarounds. So let's hope for one. As I said, I'm rooting for the United States team here.
Yogesh and Anil, we love you, but we want Parag and Rajeev to win.
We are biased commentators.
Oh. Just love Rajeev's stroke. The
Yes.
coin just glides into the pocket.
Absolutely. I think that calculation that he makes ensures that he has a firm grip.
Look at that deft touch. He pushed
Deft
that
touch.
black just a tiny bit, just a gentle nudge, just so that he can make way for that white. Beautifully done. Beautifully done.
There is so much of chess involved in carom. I mean, we can go hours talking about that topic, and it shows in some of these strokes here.
Absolutely. They're thinking several moves ahead. They're thinking about how to stymie their opponent. So in doubles, the biggest objective is when it's your turn, unless you have a simple finish, your number one objective should be to make sure your partner gets a turn. And very often, beginner players, they fail to understand this basic requirement for carom doubles. They focus on creating a finish for their partner, but your partner won't get to finish if they don't get a turn. Getting a turn is more important than getting a finish. There is no limit to how many times you can go round and round around the 4 players.
Specifically said by a person who loves to create finishes. So all that matters is get a turn.
Well, off late, my expertise is creating finishes for my opponents.
It's this passion that you have for carom as a player will slowly and steadily get back to you, Wala. This is just a temporary state.
Watch out, Yogesh.
We'll see a Bala 2.0 sometime soon.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
All I need are a bunch of rings on my finger and a giant handlebar mustache.
We are all about our get-ups, don't we? We can do that part first. Oh, what was that?
A very interesting shot. I'm not sure what
What was
Parag
he aiming for there, Bala?
It's not very sure. Let's see. They did have a good position, so it was right on Parag's part to go take a chance for a big shot on that because it was not an easy position. Not entirely sure what he was going for, but even a low percentage shot. Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Meticulously done.
When you try these big shots like the one Parag just did, but not succeed, it can backfire. Players like Yogesh can capitalize on those mistakes and punish you. It's part of the mental game, right?
Absolutely.
So let's say if Yogesh finishes this board, it can play on Parag's mind the next time he faces a similar situation.
And that's precisely what just happened here.
What's the opposite of commentator's curse?
You called it, and it's precisely what probably is going through Parag's mind. And Rajeev and Parag are having a discussion about that moment. right between the boards. But it is important for Parag to, while they lost that board, they did not lose by a big margin. It was a one coin.
And for some of our viewers who don't know, in carom, both in singles and in doubles, players cannot talk to each other while the board is in progress. So there can be no verbal communication or non-verbal communication. So in doubles, partners cannot talk during the board. They can only talk to each other between boards. So in the very few moments they have while the player is setting it up, you have to quickly compare notes on what's working, what's not working, what course correction they need to make, as we just saw between Rajeev and Parag. Let's see if it's helping.
Well said, well said. Course correction, it needs indeed. At this score line, I hope this is the board that they can...
I think what they need is a scores correction. The point. Sorry, Parag. Sorry, Rajeev.
Yes.
We are all close friends here, the US Carom community. And in fact, the global Carom community, especially after the pandemic, is a small, tight-knit group of people. We all know each other personally as well. So pardon the occasional puns and bad jokes and riffing on each other.
So well said. The carom community, especially in the U.S., has the United States Carom Association has been, in prominence for close to 27 years, 28 years here, Bala. But when you look at the number of consistently repeated, player faces that you see year over year over year, you probably say it's closer to 100. So it is a close knit community.
That's right.
In the United States, and it's gotten closer and closer, in the world as well. Let's get back to the game.
Here we go. One last coin for Yogesh. If he pockets it, they win the board, set, and match, and they will be moving on to the finals.
That was a good try. He was trying to
scissor double, which didn't quite work. And it's a relatively easy glance shot for Anil. I would say at this point, Anil has a finish in the current position unless Rajeev does something to reconfigure the board and defends the white.
He's probably going to use one of those 2 coins.
Oh no, that was unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
So this could be it. And there we go.
There we go. This is game, set, match. Between the all-Indian duo and the all-American duo, the Indian duo and the champions prevail.
Congratulations to Yogesh Pardeshi and Anil Vemuri of India, the first team to move on to the finals at the 2023 US Open Carom Championship happening right now in Frederick, Maryland.
And it was a tall order, but well fought there. Parag and Rajeev, you did your best to try to stay in the game. At the same point, I think there is so much to learn in this sport from the partners you played against. So, well done, and we'll see Yogesh and Anil in the finals on Sunday, and we're looking forward to bringing to you live.
And folks, the other semifinals is also being live streamed in parallel on our same YouTube channel. So please watch that. It's happening as well with commentary. That's happening between some really great players. One team is Chamil Kure and Luis Fernandez, one of the favorites to win the whole trophy, going up against Linus Paul from Singapore, pairing up with his friend from California, Jayaprakash JP Jayaraj. And we'll be signing off here. This is once again Bala Parthasarathi.
And myself, Naveen Chandran. What a pleasure it was to bring this to all of your viewers. And it was an extreme pleasure to partner with you, Bala, on commentating here.
Absolutely. Same here, Naveen. And thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll be back again for more matches later. Stay tuned.